Perfect.
That's it. It's preparing, getting ready.
I think we might be live.
Yeah, we are live right now. Wow. Well, welcome, Deanna. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm super good and super excited to have you here and to be starting a new era for us, which is, as I told you, women who have something to say. It's a new playlist that we're putting out. We're putting it out in English and in Spanish as well. But we just started today with you because I found you online and I loved what I read from you and what you write and what you share with the world. I thought she's a woman who has something to say.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. And I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, that is so great. I'm going to just introduce you to our audience. So give me 1 second that I'm going to get here your profile. So for everybody that's following us, I'm going to just say one thing in Spanish para los que nos están siguiendo. Esta es una nueva edición que estamos haciendo de mujeres que tienen algo que decir. Lo vamos a hacer tanto en inglés como en español. Y hoy tenemos una entrevistada, Deanna deBara, que es una autora de Portland, Oregon, y que la vamos a estar entrevistando en inglés. Así que espero que les encante esta nueva era y esta nueva etapa de nuestro canal. So, Deanna deBara is a writer and entrepreneur who works with major brands, outlets, and publications in a variety of industries, including health and wellness, business and productivity, and marketing and branding. Her work has been featured in a number of well-known outlets, including Glamour, Cosmopolitan, Playboy, and Men's Health. I love that, the last two, because I didn't know about it.
Mm.
In addition to her writing, Deanna is also a speaker and a business coach who works with emerging entrepreneurs to help them get their businesses off the ground. Best known for her open conversational style, Deanna's goal is to show that the path to success is winding, challenging, and imperfect. For you perfectionists out there, listen this. It's imperfect, but completely and totally worth it. So welcome again, Deanna. It's such a pleasure to have you here. So listen, let's start from the beginning that surprised me, and I think that many people that follow me because they are in their path to reset their lives, to reinvent themselves professionally. And the first thing I read from you was that you are kind of a converted person, a converted professional, that you left a corporate job.
I did. So I worked in corporate America in a number of different roles for the better part of a decade. And I had kind of like the outward markers of success. I was doing well, I was at a great company. I had a great title. But for whatever reason, something just didn't feel right. I knew that I had things that I wanted to do with my life, that I had gifts that I wanted to share with the world. And I didn't feel like that was possible in the roles that I was in. But like many people, I was kind of conditioned from a very young age to think that there's a certain path that you take in life, and you go to school and then you graduate and then you get a job and then you work your way up in that job and then you get the corner office and that's it. And so that was kind of the path that I was on for a number of years until I took a step back and asked myself, is this the path that I want to be on? And I found that the answer was a resounding no. I wanted more freedom and flexibility in my life. I wanted the opportunity to explore my creativity, follow the things that I felt excited about. So about 4 years ago, I took the leap. I left my corporate job, which was incredibly scary. I lived in Los Angeles, which is a very expensive city, and kind of jumping and just trusting that the net would appear was definitely a scary experience. But it was also the best decision I've ever made. It
So
was
a scary experience from what standpoint?
So I think that one of the things that I struggled with when starting my business, and still to some extent struggle with now, is this sense of imposter syndrome of thinking, you know, am I really going to be able to be successful? Am I smart enough? Am I driven enough? Like, is this going to work out? And there is a little bit of, like a feeling of safety and security when you're at a job and you have a steady paycheck and you know you're going to get paid every 2 weeks. And going out on your own, there's no guarantee that that's going to work out. And that was certainly something that made me feel a little bit apprehensive. But I think that courage isn't about not being scared. It's about being scared and then doing it anyway. And so I was scared, but I pushed forward. And like I said, today it has definitely been a challenging and windy and imperfect road, but today I have a business and a life that I love and that I'm really proud of. So I'm very grateful that I pushed through that fear and made the leap.
So, Deanna, when you left your corporate job, did you know what you were going to do?
So I knew what I wanted to do with my life. So what sparked this, kind of reinvention?
That to you, you're saying like, I knew what I wanted to do with my life. And that is something that is pretty unique because not many people know, what do we want to do with our lives? I mean, not many people question themselves as, what is it that I really want? So you spend some time, I guess, like kind of self-analyzing.
So I have spent the better part of the last decade really digging into what my values are, what I want my life to look like, how I can pull the things that are meaningful to me into my life. And what sparked this, kind of decision to leave my job was that from a very young age, I knew that I wanted to travel, that traveling to other parts of the world and immersing myself in different cultures was something that I felt called to do, that felt like it was just part of what I was here for. But working in, a corporate job where you have, maybe 10 days of vacation a year, I just knew that that wasn't possible. And I wanted to travel for a more extended period of time. So my now husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, he was on the same page, and we decided that we both were going to quit our jobs and we were going to go backpacking and go travel through Southeast Asia. And I knew that I needed to do something to support myself while I was there. And writing has always been a love and a passion of mine. And so I thought, if there ever was a time to try building a business around this thing that you love, now's the time to do it. And so I did.
So you did. And how did you start writing? I mean, did you just, you speak about journaling a lot.
Mm-hmm. So I have been on and off a lifelong journaler. So I've always been the kind of person, and not necessarily journaling in the sense of Dear Diary, this is where I went today and this is what I did, but more as using writing as a tool to connect with my inner self and get clarity on who I am and where I am and what I want. And so that obviously has been a big part of sparking my love for writing. And then also, even in school, I remember when I was in like first or second grade, we had this big school-wide writing competition. And I won, in like the first or the second grade. And so it was something from like a very young age I definitely had an aptitude for. And it was one of the only things that throughout my life, I've tried a lot of different things and I've had a lot of different hobbies. I've lived a lot of different places, but writing was really the one consistent thing that was always with me. And, 4 years ago when I was in my early 30s, I was like, that's probably a sign that this is something that you should pursue.
Mm-hmm. And how did you start?
So when I decided that I wanted to make writing a business.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I am very fortunate that part of my corporate career was in business development. So I had experience in like driving sales and figuring out how to find clients and all of those things. So I was able to translate that part of my career just into building a business for myself. So it was really just looking and seeing, I did apply to some, like if I saw that someone was looking for a writer, I would reach out, but mostly it was looking at brands and publications that I wanted to work for, reaching out and introducing myself, and then being all sorts of persistent until people wanted to work with me. And 4 years later, I'm still doing the same thing.
Wow, good for you. So now that's your main job, right?
Yeah, so I have been a full-time writer for, as I said, a little over 4 years. I started off mostly doing content marketing, so working with brands. And then about 2 years ago, I also started doing more kind of journalism and reported pieces, which is also something that I really enjoy.
So I absolutely love how you write, really,
Thank
because
you. That means a lot to me.
you write from your heart, and I think that is not so typical, I would say. I mean, you're possibly into like building your path uh, to just creating or crafting a future best-selling book. And
Mm,
you remember this interview when you do that,
I
okay?
will.
It's another one. But yeah, I do think because it is, I think that one of the most difficult parts of writing is really connecting with yourself and how from the pieces I read from you, like for example, the other day I was reading one about anxiety, and you were saying, well, I experience it a lot, but yet it is something that at the end it is also positive. So I did like how, I mean, the way that you have on seeing things, even your weaknesses or your emotions that we don't like that much. I mean, not that they're bad, but that you found like how to flip it over and say, okay, but this can also serve me. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I really strive to do in my writing, and this is something that we touched on a little bit in my bio, is I'm a person who struggles. You know, I have challenges, I have imperfections, I have flaws, I have obstacles that I've had to overcome. And I want to always be completely open about that, because there's not a single one of us, no matter how successful, how smart, how kind, um, how anything, that hasn't faced those things. And I think that pretending that we don't have struggles isn't serving anyone. So one thing that I've always aimed to do is to be really open about the things that I struggle with, in an attempt to, as you said, to form that connection and let other people know that they're not alone. And if they're struggling, that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them, or they won't be successful or happy or joyful or any of those things. And it took me, a good amount of time to get to the point where I could be completely open about the things that I struggle with. But today, I don't look at the way that I look at life is not that my life is amazing despite the challenges and the obstacles that I've had to overcome. I believe that my life is amazing today because of those challenges and obstacles. So because I'm a person who has anxiety, because I'm a person who overcame, a pretty intense addiction to alcohol when I was younger, because I'm a person who has just had these kind of experiences with self-doubt and imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough. Those are the things that shaped me. Those are the things that helped to transform me into the person that I am today. So I'm grateful for those things, even though they're not so fun in the moment. Ultimately, those are the things that act as a catalyst for positive change.
Now, Deanna, let me ask you something. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think that sharing uh, those challenges helps you like overcome them, or do you share them after you overcame them?
Mm-hmm. I think that it's a combination of both. There are some things that are in my past that I still write about today because I think that they're very relevant. And for me, sharing them just makes them, I think that there's some sense of, shame that comes along with failing, right?
Mhm.
And I think that
Yeah,
sharing about those things
absolutely.
can help to alleviate some of that shame and say, hey, it's okay. We all fail. We all fall. You're not alone. So I do write about things that I have already overcome. But I also think that writing about something in the moment when I'm struggling with something, it can help me gain so much clarity, and it can be what I need to move forward. So I think it's a little bit of a combination of both.
I think our connection is kind of unstable. It is my
Oh,
connection. So let me try and switch here. Yeah, for some reason.
perfect. No worries.
Comcast. Let's try now. I think now it, yeah.
Okay, great.
So that was good. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think that you are a type, or in this stage in your life, that you are one type of person that do you rely more on your strength, or do you try to improve your weaknesses?
Ooh, that is a great question.
Thank you.
So I am a bit of a recovering perfectionist. Like that is an obstacle that I have not yet overcome. That's something that I still really struggle with, is this sense of needing to be perfect and trying to identify all of these, weaknesses that I have and try to fix myself in some way. But I'm really trying to move away from that because I don't find it to be an attitude that serves me. When I focus on the things that I feel are lacking in my life, I can get caught up in them, and I can get caught in, a not so positive place. So what I'm trying to do right now, and I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm really trying to focus on what I'm good at, what my strengths are, and being comfortable where I am, and not trying to transform myself into a better, stronger, faster version of myself, and just kind of being okay with Deanna as Deanna is.
Good. And Diana, as I like what you said, that you're trying to focus more on your strength right now. And also I think that that is part of like believing in yourself and building on your self-confidence. So how confident do you feel? Especially, I think that this is such a female question that I'm going to do. Um, how comfortable do you feel speaking great about yourself,
Mm.
about your strength and what you're really good at? And
That has also been a journey. I think many people, but as you touched on, especially women, it can feel uncomfortable to kind of toot our own horn and build ourselves up. But I think it's so important to be able to recognize the light that we bring to the world, because everyone has it. Everyone has unique strengths that only they bring to the table. And I think it's so important to own those. So are there days that I still struggle with self-doubt? Absolutely. Are there days that I still feel like a little bit insecure? Of course. But overall, I think it's so important to own who I am and the good that I bring and the good that I do. And as I've adopted that attitude, it's gotten a lot easier for me to say, hi, my name's Deanna. I'm a business owner. I'm a writer. These are the things that I'm proud of. These are the things I'm excited about.
okay, so let's talk about those for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like 1 minute of bragging, like
Ooh. Yes, I can. Okay.
yeah,
So
please do
just
it.
things that I'm proud of.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So some of the things that I'm the most proud of, I am incredibly proud of building a business out of nothing, literally starting from ground zero and building up a business to the point where I am financially secure. I enjoy the work that I'm doing. I'm working with clients I'm excited about. I'm incredibly proud of that. I'm proud of my openness and vulnerability. That's not necessarily something that comes easily to me. So being able to put myself out there in a way where I'm very open about my challenges and I talk about the things that I struggle with, I'm really proud of my ability to do that. I'm proud of the friend and the wife and the daughter that I am. I'm proud of what an amazing dog mom I am. I have a 4-year-old dog, and he's like the biggest joy in my life, and I'm proud of what an amazing life I give him. And I'm proud that I am a person who takes the gifts that they've been given and tries, maybe not successfully all the time, but tries to use that gift to make the world a better place. That's ultimately what I feel like my purpose is. I know that writing is just the talent that I've been born with, just what I do. It's what I do best. And my ultimate goal in life is to use that as a platform to make the world a better place, even just for a single person. Even if my writing makes one person feel less alone, then that's something that I'm really, really proud of.
That is so beautiful. Deanna, and give me some of the gifts that you've been given. Writing is one.
Yeah, writing is definitely one. I think I'm a person who has a lot of empathy and compassion, and that feels like a gift. I think that some of the struggles that I've been through have made me more empathetic and more compassionate. So that's another reason that I'm grateful for them.
Okay.
I pride myself on being a present friend and wife and family member. There's nothing that's more important to me than supporting the people that I love. And that's something that I feel like is a gift. And I'm also really, really organized. I'm like crazy organized, and that feels like a gift because,
and you look like a doer, aren't you?
I am a doer. I am a doer. And I think another thing, and I don't know if this is necessarily a gift, but this is an aspect of my personality that I am very happy about, is that I don't see any limits. I haven't always been that way, but I've proven to myself by pushing myself to do new things that there's nothing that I can't do. Everything is figure outable. So if I decide that I want to do something, if I want to travel somewhere, if I want to launch a new part of my business, if I want to make new friends or go new places, whatever it is, I have what I need to do that. And I know that. And so there's nothing that feels too challenging for me. If something comes up and I'm like, I want to do that, I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. And that's something that I take a lot of pride in.
Wow, that is such a great gift. I mean, such a great gift. Congratulations. So the last thing that I want to ask you, because we're initiating this Women Who Have Something to Say, is if you have one message today to give to the world, and I always say that we can change the message tomorrow. I mean, but each day, if you wanted to just share some nugget of wisdom with the world, what would that be?
That is such a great question. I think ultimately my biggest message that I would want to get out, and the message that I try to give myself every day, is you are worthy exactly the way that you are. You are worthy with all of your imperfections, with all of your struggles, with all of your challenges, no matter who you are, where you are, what you do, you are worthy exactly the way that you are. And if you come from that place of worthiness, the life that you can build is absolutely incredible.
Wow, that is so powerful, because being and feeling worthy, how we are, and focusing on everything that we have, even the challenges, and seeing them from that positive perspective is so powerful. So Deanna, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing this live. Incredible. I'm going to share it everywhere. I ask people to share it everywhere as well. You can share it as well. And you'll be always invited. Of course, I mean, we can republish your articles, whatever, or wherever you write them.
And thank you for what you're doing and for putting this together, because I think that this is such an important thing to give women who have something to say, which is all of us, the platform to say it. So Thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it and appreciate you. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you again.
Thank you, Deanna, and thank everybody that is watching this. That if you speak Spanish, you're going to be like trying to tune into English, that's okay. You can learn it. Everything is figure outable, like Deanna was saying. Even another language is figure outable. And today we have this incredible world where more and more people, I think, and believe, that speak several languages, English being one of them. So here we are spreading the word. So thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
I'd love to have you again whenever you want. This is
I
your
would
home.
love to. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.